Live reaction.
I see the word Illuminati. I see the word Illuminati 3 times in the same sentence.
Oh, Illuminati confirmed. All right, I guess it's an Illuminati team then.
Valley Club, Captain Britain and the Illuminati are on the way to Marvel Strike Force. How important will this team be? The month is coming to an end and a new update should be arriving next week. What can you expect? And now that Alpha Flight is in the game, do they make the Mounties proud or are they a massive disappointment to all of Canada? We're discussing these things and more in this edition of your Marvel Strike Force Weekly News Update. Joining me this week from the land of maple syrup and poutine is my brother DorkyDad. And if you're ready for all these topics and more, then brother Dorky, let him know what to do.
Well, hey there, bud. Why don't we go pitter patter, get at her, and let's get to it.
Oh yeah, and welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. I am ValleyFlyin. This is DorkyDad, and this is your Marvel Strike Force Weekly News Update. We do this update every single week. Keep you updated on everything that has happened and is upcoming in Marvel Strike Force. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button for more great Marvel Strike Force content. We have a minimum 5 videos per week, all about Marvel Strike Force, helping you with everything, keeping you up to date with the news, question and answer videos, gameplay videos, everything to help your experience in Marvel Strike Force. But how has your experience been this week in Marvel Strike Force, brother Dorky? Has it been good, bad, indifferent? Where are you at with the game?
It's been a little goofy, hasn't it? With Alpha Flight doing their Alpha Flight things and some data mines. Really kind of, the Canadian team already sucked. So let's move right on to some guy from Britain. It's been kind of a goofy week.
All right, that was my question. Are they representing your country well or are they disappointing?
Not really, because
I'm kind of like North Star. North Star's pretty good.
He's okay, but like the MVP of the team is Sunfire. It's like, okay.
Sunfire. Wolverine's pretty good. He's Canadian.
He's there. Yeah.
He does a lot of damage. His ultimate is strong. Anyway, let's move on to what you said. The new team coming. Let's go on to Britain. And Captain Britain was data mined last week. What was your initial thoughts when you saw Captain Britain being data mined? I know he was rumored to come to the game around the time that Death Seed eventually came. The rumors was, oh, maybe we get Excalibur then. It turned out to be Death Seed. What was your thoughts here? Excalibur, something else? What was your thoughts when you saw Captain Britain?
Yeah, my initial thoughts were Excalibur. Like I went onto the Marvel Wiki, checked it out. Okay, what teams he affiliated with? We had Excalibur, we had, I think it was Hellfire Club. There was a bunch of things in there. And there was Illuminati,
Iron Man,
was in
Avengers,
there. Yeah, Iron Man, Avengers. There was a bunch of stuff that came in there. So I was like, man, he can go into a bunch of places. The Excalibur team makes sense because they just reworked a couple mutants a few months ago, like Jubilee and Phoenix and all that, but then they kind of sucked. So I thought maybe this is going to be another tie in there. And then there's of course the Illuminati, which is heavily tied to Professor Xavier. And we got some stinker characters that are legendary that would also fit there, right? Like Black Bolt. So kind of interesting.
Okay. And when you initially saw the announcement of Captain Britain, he's a mutant. That's what came into my head. Old Man Logan's a mutant. Does this have to do with Professor X? What kind of tie-ins do you think this has with Professor X? Anything, or just this is another team on the horizon?
Well, I think regardless of what team he's on, whether it be something like Excalibur, something like Avengers, or something like the Illuminati, that he's going to be a big enough character because we see awakened abilities that they're going to probably have some kind of storyline with him. So I assume it's going to be around Professor X, but I also think this character could be Mystic as well. On the WoW Wiki, on the Marvel Wiki, it looked like he had Mystic properties.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when you first saw that these were awakened abilities, what was your first thoughts? Legendary, dark promo character like Black Knight. What was your thoughts? Legendary?
Well, yeah, I thought the whole shebang. I thought this was going to be the next legendary character coming out in like October or something. I thought, of course, DPCs if he's a legendary character. But then we've had other data mines come out since that are kind of conflicting with that. And then if like the Black Panther Shuri, who we have the splash art for, is coming next patch, maybe they're going to go together. Maybe she's the stand-in for T'Challa on the Illuminati team. So there's lots of intricate things that are going on here, which is pretty cool.
So when you saw that Captain Britain was data mined and subsequent data mines, did you think that Captain Britain, this Black Panther version of Shuri, would be in the same team? Because when I first saw this, the splash screen for update 8.1, thought, oh, Black Panther Shuri, that's interesting. I guess Wakandans are getting another rework. And then the community's like, wait, that could just be a costume. So what do you think this could be? Same team versus Captain Britain, brand new team. So Captain Britain's team and something with Black Panther Shuri, or is this just a costume?
Well, at first, like you, I thought Wakanda team. I thought we were going to get Claw. We're going to get some kind of resurgence there because they had a passive kind of bringing the Wakandans back up to snuff, which I thought was really cool. But once Captain Britain came out, and I had a YouTube commenter literally tell me like it's probably Illuminati. And then we've seen other data mines and other content creators making these speculation videos. It makes sense that she's probably with him, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we will wait and see. And we may have more information that we're leading on right now. And if we do have more information that we're leading on, there could be another video coming with all the things that we know later today. So potentially look out for that. But I do want to move on to Time Heist because I thought this was an excellent thing. New players, returning players have a huge benefit. What this is being updated, and Time Heist that's in the game right now is not that great. And this is going to be updated 7 days after the 26th of June. So next week, Wednesday, is when we should have these new Time Heist in the game. But the current Time Heist, not that great. I mean, $99 for the highest level, $99 for the level before that, and it only gets you to level 80. What we have, the changes coming next week, so don't buy these, guys. I don't think these are worth it. This is going to be worth it, though. Time Heist gets you, as level 10, gets you right to level 20. At level 20, gets you to level 35. Level 35 gets you to level 50. Level 50 gets you to 65. 65, the next one gets you to 80. And at 80, you could unlock the one to get you to all the way to level 95. The total cost of all these are about $143 or so. What do you think of this cost? Getting from level 10, which you could do it as a new player in about, what, 10, 20 minutes or so?
Yeah, very, very quickly.
All right, so after about 10, 20 minutes, you could pay money, get from level 0 to level 95, $143. How awesome is this for new players and new players coming into the game?
Yeah, for new spenders, this is just phenomenally better than what we used to have. Like, even the initial Time Heist offer that we currently have was like $30 for Avengers. If I were to buy that, and then like now I've spent money, I'm engaged, I'm gonna go check out Twitch, I'm gonna go check out YouTube, whatever, and I find out I just spent $30 on trash, and the level increase was garbage. Like I'd be very kind of soiled on the game. Okay, so if an American is $20, and then after that, like if you bought all these and it's like what $300 or something in its current state.
Oh yeah.
And then you're invested, right? You're invested at that point. You go in, you see you just bought a bunch of garbage from their disposable bin. I'd be pretty upset. This new Time Heist is way more in line with the current meta. The cost makes way more sense. The initial offer is actually a microtransaction, which is good. And it gets them, gets new players a taste so they can see if they're actually going to enjoy the game or not. Like, this is just a phenomenal change, and I hope that they don't wait, 8 months to update it from now.
Yeah, they're gonna have to keep updating this, and I think they will. They've updated Spotlight Raids, which is a orb, the Spotlight Raid orb, which is traditionally the Greek Raid orb or the secondary Raid orb, something they've taken a while for. They've already shown they could update this, so they could do this, updated legendaries, all that stuff is, I like that. Now, what do you think of the selection of characters? I think this is a much better selection of characters. We need some cosmic heroes to do cosmic, more heroes to do or more characters to do the villain section there very early on. Pegasus is still involved in meta. Eternals are still involved in the meta. I mean, even back to that initial offer, you could make an argument that the Infinity Watch is still involved in the meta. Extreme X-Men, very, very important. New Warrior is still very important. Maybe not so much Weapon X, but Omega Red is still very important. Wolverine is a good character on Alpha Flight. Hive Mind, Underworld, maybe not Underworld so much, but Masters of Evil, very, very good. And then at the highest level, Spider Side, New Avengers, Secret Defenders, Quicksilver. All great characters. What did you think when you saw all these characters? I mean, I know you started at a newer account months ago. Were you a little jealous that they gave this offers for newer players or returning players?
If I was a brand new player, I would have felt jealous. But I have two well-established accounts, so I would not have been tempted to spend this money anyway. But these are very good offers. And to your point, that first offer, it doesn't seem like, oh, these characters aren't super meta, but they're the characters that a new player needs for the cosmic campaign and the villain campaign. Yeah, that's why that initial offer is good, because it opens up like twice or three times as many campaigns as they otherwise would have, which I think is really, really good. These teams are phenomenal for sure.
Is this a must buy for new players? $3? I mean, I remember when I had like a $10 offer when I first started, got some Captain America shards. I'm like, that is a great deal. This is even better.
Yeah. So if you're a new player and you played the game for the full day and you loved it and you wanted to keep playing, then this is definitely the gateway offer. This is the one you go to, you give it a shot, you go to do the rest of the campaigns, you get a feel for some more characters, and then from there, well, then you're gonna probably have an existential crisis on how much more you're gonna spend on Marvel Strike Force.
Nice. Now, some of these offers, do they have any appeal for a few veteran players? Where would the cutoff be? You know, having your Spider Society at lower than the 5 stars that you get here, because these don't go up, right? If you have them at 5 stars, you're not going to get extra shards. You're not getting extra red stars. This is just 5 stars, 5 red stars, 5 gold stars, and all these abilities. You're not going to get extra materials for this. So where do you think the cutoff is for veteran players to make it worth it? Having these not at 5 stars yet? Or do these resources make it worth it? $40 for this gold, some of this other stuff. If you don't have your characters out red stars, these silver promotion, gold promotion credits are a lot more valuable. So what would be it for you, I guess?
Yeah, so my golden rule is if a character's farmable, I'm not looking at their offers anymore.
That's a
period.
good rule. That's
right?
a good rule.
So Spider Society is the only exception to that, except Spider Society, we're going to have Cabal and then Spider Society after that. I think if you've been a very engaged player since their release, I know my baby account, I have them all at 5 stars. And if you were considering buying this, maybe you buy passes anyway. So you might have them at 6 stars for all the passes they've been in at this point. So you're really only looking at those resources. So $40 for 12 million gold, 1,200 L4 training materials. And then the rest of that is pretty garbage, right? That's kind of stuff that we're just getting from milestones here and there. Maybe you could make an argument for the T2 L1 ions. No, I don't think you could. Yeah. The Elite Orbs, nothing there. So you'd have to just look at the gold and the training materials. And I think right now there's an offer for, I want to say it's $4 for like 3 million gold and 3 gold orbs. So if you bought that 4 times and you're only spending $12, you're getting the same amount of gold. So I don't think for the materials themselves, the offer is worth it.
Okay. Now, I was pretty engaged in all their events, you know, and I have an endgame account, so I could participate fully in all their events. And I did buy the strike passes, but I didn't buy any of their initial offers. They're already at 5 stars, and I think the strike passes, I think they still would be at 5 stars even without the strike passes there. So if you're pretty engaged, I'm not sure if this offer is going to be worth it just for the stars, because by the time these come out, you might already have them at 5 stars. But this is great for returning players. This is great for new players. If you're returning, gets you right back in the meta. I like this. So awesome stuff with this, I think.
Yep, 100%.
And now that Sasquatch has been released, we have a full Alpha Flight team in the game. Were you able to complete Showcase? And if you did, how big were your Alpha Flight? I just got Guardian last night, and I was able to complete most of the nodes at this level. So 4 stars on North Star, 2 stars on Sasquatch, 3 stars on Guardian, and then Sunfire, Wolverine, 1 diamond on each. So this is what I was able to do with my Alpha Flight. How big was yours, and how big do you think it needs to be to sim these incursion or these spotlight raid nodes?
So on the one account that we spent,
actually, sorry, let me ask that question again. That was a stupid question. Sorry. So actually, how big is your Alpha Flight? How did you do on the raids, and how big do you think they need to be able to fully sim these spotlight raids?
So on the only account I buy characters on, it goes hard. So it was like, you know, Crimson Gear, level 100, 5, 6 stars. So it's completely simmable at that point. As far as like safely simming, because of that second Alpha Flight node with the Mr. Pevitra on it there, below 5 yellow, 5 red from my experience in the playtest isn't safe, because if both Pavs change your Sasquatch repeatedly, your Sasquatch dies. And then once your Sasquatch dies, you have no revives, you have nothing like that. So the good news is, if you are free to play, like you have this team right here, if you have a big enough Sunfire, he will carry the damage through the nodes. And then really Wolverine has some damage. Yeah, he's there. He's doing his special, and he's like, hey, bub, and all that stuff. It's cool.
I think I buried the lead though, Dorky. I didn't buy any of these offers. This is all cord Sasquatch, and then got this charge from Northstar for this event. She got the charge for Guardian for this event. So this is a free-to-play Alpha Flight team, and I'm already doing well in the spotlight raids.
Attaboy, you saved those cores. I don't have that. I don't have that restraint. I don't have the restraint to core for characters.
I knew this would be happening. I knew I would need Alpha Flight. I didn't want to buy this offer. I didn't want to buy the Guardian offer. Sasquatch was a 45 star unlock. Let's get these as soon as possible. Save my cores. And I use a lot of cores. It wasn't fun, but I got the team. I spent a lot of gold. I got no gold anymore, but we got this. All right, let's move on to ISOs, Dorky. I actually did the first node or the first run in Spotlight with the wrong ISOs. Switched them. I think these are the best ISOs based on what Juicy told me. What are the best ISOs that you are using for Alpha Flight, and why are these the best ISOs?
These are definitely not the best ISOs.
What is the best ISOs for you? This is what Juicy told me is better than what I was using. It was better than what I was using. This is better than what I was using.
Fair enough. So now that they're fixing North Star speed, he does make more sense as a raider. He was not getting the speed stat before the rest, or at the same time as the rest of his team is. They fixed that. Sasquatch is 100% a skirmisher. In raids, he's going to counterattack every single time he's hit. That's going to give you an vulnerability to play around with. Guardian, Raider, Striker, it doesn't matter. Sunfire, Striker 100% because he is just the absolute damage on the team. And when he does his ISO attack, it'll bring an enemy character from like 70% life to just dead, fueling that energy, fueling all that stuff that North Star's doing on his passive too. And then Wolverine, you could do Raider, Striker. It really doesn't matter. I just prefer to have more vulnerables because that is an additional 10% damage on all the enemies as long as they always have the vulnerables. But the bleeds from Wolverine are also nice if you want to have him as a striker. I just Sasquatch as a skirmisher.
All right, Dorky, I think I had him initially at skirmisher, so I'll put him back there and mix and match like what you said and what Juicy said. So no, not Raider. We don't want to put him back to skirmisher there. All right, and all right, is this in your opinion the best ISO setup for the raids for Alpha Flight?
This is acceptable. I would
acceptable. You still want Wolverine Raider? Right.
I want Guardian Raider more than Wolverine Raider because I don't think Guardian's basic attack is too interesting to me. Like, because I don't care how this team works in war rather. In war, it's a dumpster fire of an issue, right? In raids, it's the Sunfire show. I'm gonna have my Sunfire level 100 gear to 18 striker. I'll probably put 1, if not 2 diamonds on him. He's gonna clear the map every single time he takes a turn, and that's all I need from him. So as long as he is hitting into all the enemies with vulnerables, that's my goal.
Okay, Raider and Guardian is the only one you might switch then. Based on what I have right now. Okay. Yeah. I like it. Now, what changes in war? Does anything change in war for Alpha Flight? I'm hearing that they're not performing very good in war. They're beaten by out of time 4. There were a lot of other teams that beat them before, but we'll talk about the bug fixes. But what is your experience in war with Alpha Flight right now?
Not great. not great. If you went super hard on this team because you wanted to sim the raid nodes and then you also wanted to have a really good war defense team, you got half of what you wanted because this team is really bad in war. There was a bug. You want to talk about Bucky Barnes right now?
Sure. Let's talk about the Bucky Barnes bug.
Yeah. So Bucky Barnes has a mechanic that when he doesn't have charge, he gets speed bar and then he goes. He was only, to my knowledge from what the developer was telling us, he's only supposed to get 50%, but he was getting 100%. So North Star would not allow him to get charges. He would take infinite turns. And if you paired him with Fury, who has a % chance to call in an assist, and Kestrel, who does defense down and then will also do additional pings and just innately does more damage, you go in with those 3, you could get into an infinite Bucky Barnes loop where he would just keep going over and over and over again. And so to counter that, some people had to start throwing Echo in with their Alpha Flight over, I believe it was Sunfire. So that already felt really bad, but they're fixing the charge here, but it doesn't really fix the team either. Because like you said, the 4-piece out of time is still just beating them. And like, I get the out of time team is pretty new. I get that, you know, we've seen them do pretty amazing things with against new Avengers and stuff like that. But when you take the main character off the team, like you take off Black Knight because he's actually a detriment to that team because he also gets charges. North Star doesn't allow him that. He gets speed bar, he goes, and then you lose the Cosmic Ghost Rider passives. That's why you have to take him off for that matchup. So the fact that there's that workaround and then 4 characters are beating what is supposed to be like the newest, hottest defense team, it's kind of wickedy whack if you ask me. And I think they got to go back to the drawing board as far as war defense goes. I'd love to see them start putting in like if we get the next Crucible team, I'd like to see a character in that team have war defense traits, but not for their team to go somewhere else for the players to theory craft, you know, like a America Chavez level character, something like that. But it missed the mark so bad for war defense.
Do you think this team was originally designed to be a war defense team or a raid team, and then they added the other one later?
The problem with it being designed to be the raid team, if we argue that this team's purpose is to be a raid team, then how are we going to feel about that when this spotlight reads? We've already seen the orb shift so quickly. How are we going to feel when the Alpha Flight team gets flipped off of it so quickly, right? I think that for the spotlight raids, and this is what I thought they were doing, they need to make the team for the game mode it's supposed to be good in, which was, in my opinion, was supposed to be war defense. And then it just needs to flex into the raid nodes because they want additional reason to sell these teams that we may not want to go too hard on. Yeah. But it needs to actually work in that mode, not just be, well, we have a problem, here's the solution, figure it. Like, there's gotta be some like actual flexibility in these sort of teams for them to be successful, in my opinion.
Do you think that this was all intended, that they were supposed to be mediocre like this, or this is missing the mark of what the devs wanted?
I don't think they were supposed to be mediocre. I think they were supposed to be good enough that you would consider extra money on them or consider using an apocalypse on them. But because the game it's a pretty mature game now, right? We have a lot of characters with a lot of very advanced kits that do a lot of specific things, like Cosmic Ghost Rider taking away all your focus before one of their characters takes a turn and getting barrier for every single ult that happens. And they all open with ult, the Alpha Flight team. When we start having these very intricate kits, it's easy for them to trip up on something that the community has more knowledge of, because there is like 70 or 80 different variations of these teams. Gotcha.
Now, North Star, you mentioned the speed bonus, the passive, now it activates immediately, changes what you're using as far as ISO. Raider makes more sense now. Did this change anything else in War? Or did this change anything else other than ISO attacks? What else did this change?
So it makes him go first, which is really good. So in raids now, he's going to go.
I love that in the raids. I love that in the raids.
Before Guardian goes, so Guardian's going to like hit the defense down. He's not going to have to worry about getting dodged, stuff like that, which is nice. In War, it theoretically could change things, like probably the Apocalypse Dorm Doom counter wouldn't work on Alpha Flight anymore. But why would you do that counter when you can now do 4-piece at a time? Because it doesn't matter when North Star ults, Cosmic Ghost Rider still saps his focus and then puts barrier on his team for it. So unless they put like a 5,000% focus increase on North Star's ultimate, this doesn't change the 4-piece at a time beating it.
Now there is a change that should be coming that I'm wondering maybe this affects it, and this is the war ready stats. So previously we've had 20% stats to war ready attacking allies. They removed that this season and made it to defensive stats for Spider versus Heroes, I believe. It looks like they're putting it back. Was there enough community complaining about the removal of this, the war ready offense, that this is back? Is that what happened?
Yeah, so I don't know which group of players this was, because there is the very heavy, very spendy, like hardcore war alliances. They complained war defense was lacking, and so they needed a boost. So Scopely gave it a boost by taking away primary stats in the offense, and then those spenders were like, no, not like that. We want to just complain. We don't want it to actually be harder. So it might have been them complaining, or I think the general population of the game isn't as interested or invested in war. And when things became that much harder, counters didn't work as well. The Spider Society team, just that team, becomes overbearing with all of their buffs, plus losing 20%. So I think the general population of the game was unhappy with this miss, and I'm not sure how the spenders are functioning with it. But I know that doing this, it's just going to go back to the spenders complaining that war defense is stale, especially with the Alpha Flight team missing the mark, right? So the war right now, the war mode itself is in this like really weird limbo where they're trying to balance not ruining war for the general populace and making it a challenging, fun puzzle for the hardcore spenders that really take part in war.
Gotcha. So I'm someone that really doesn't like war. I don't like the timing of it. I don't like having to wait around for my attacks and then come back. I like doing all this stuff at once. So I've never liked war. As someone that does like war, though, what would you prefer? More of a defensive meta or an offensive meta, personally?
I hated when wars were coming down to one win, right? Like the old style of war, I didn't like because we had to set a timer. We had to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning because the first person who cleared the helicarrier automatically won. They changed it so we can do our attacks whenever we want, but it came down to such a war offensive meta that it was, if one person crashed, your alliance lost the war, because wars were literally being decided by one win, one loss. Mephisto kind of has shaken that up, but now a lot of people are starting to lock Mephisto, especially in the upper brackets of War. Like we're already past, I think, 350 Mephistos in the game. So it's going to go back to like the one crash equals your alliance loses kind of thing. And I don't like that. So I do think there needs to be some sort of shakeup on the War defensive front. I think if you don't want to affect that general populace of players that couldn't really care about War at all, then you got to do what I was talking about earlier, which is like every new Crucible team, every new Raid team, every new Arena team have one character on that team, have shoutouts to War, maybe War defense in particular, but not for their team. So it's not like that's a new War defense team. It's one character that goes around. Maybe they jump into Heroes for Hire, Young Avenger, like wherever they go, but they're going to kind of revitalize that team, add some theory crafting, something like that. I think just making what this was, taking away the primary stats, was just like bigger numbers are now going to win, right? It was just making punch up stupider, as opposed to making strategy and theory more interesting.
I like that. Have you mentioned that idea to Matt Sheets?
Nope.
All right, can you mention that mighty to Matt Sheets? Because I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I guess I could. Probably a good idea instead of just thinking about it out loud.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. I think you should talk to Matt and mention that to him. All right, let's move on to the Alliance event that's going on right now. What is it? Far and Wide event. You need the battle and raids, specifically the spotlight raids. The rest of the stuff is pretty easy. The main thing for this milestone, the separator, is how many nodes you're going to be able to do in the spotlight raids. You should be able to get most of the main milestone stuff just related to the main month-long milestone event pretty easily. The rest of the stuff is going to be about pushing, but even these ranking rewards look pretty good, even up to the top 10%. Some pretty good rewards here. How do you feel about this Alliance event? And are you and your Alliance really pushing for these spotlight raid nodes to really go for these ranking rewards?
Wait, so go to leaderboard tab?
Oh, the leaderboard? Where are you at?
3. So Onslaught is ranked 3 right now. So we're happy there. The other account is they're probably
so
going to be...
You got a 3 diamond Sasquatch coming to you.
Woo! Yay, I'm so happy.
About 6 months. 6 months it'll be the 3 diamonds, right?
Yeah, exactly. But then I also have the baby, right? On the baby account, we don't have people buying the teams. We're pushing just to get the 240,000 completed from it. It's an event that you're either going to be a spender and you're pushing for it, or you're just like a mid-game player in a casual alliance. You're just going to accept what you get, or you're on the outs because you're in a completely
free to play, or a crazy person that's not buying the team, that's spending all their cores on one character.
There you go. And then it comes down to earning the milestone, right at the end of the day. This event, it is what it is. I think it's fine. It's kind of free stuff for doing your raids. It's rewarding people who bought the Alpha Flight team even more. I couldn't care less. Do you like these ranking rewards based on Alliance events? Because I kind of like these. I feel like we get better rewards with this because our alliance pushes as a whole. Do you like these kind of events where the entire alliance gets rewarded for what the alliance does? So you got to be careful because this is a super double-edged sword, right? So if you and your alliance are of one mind, you're like, okay, this is worth pushing for. This is what it is valued to us as a whole. Is everyone on board? Yep. Okay, go for it. And then that's fine. Then there's the other alliance where people are split. You might have a couple big spenders, you might have a bunch of free-to-play, and then it creates tension there, which I'm not a big fan of. And then for the big spenders, like it's cash money for Scopely when they put alliance leaderboards up against each other. Even for a character like Sasquatch, it's like, oh, I'll raise you. Poker table. It's like, I'll raise you.
At the top end, is it more about winning and less about the rewards? Is it more about beating your opponents?
100%. Yeah.
These rewards don't even matter. It's just who's going to get the number 1 spot.
Yeah. Also, I guess there'll probably be some sort of exclusivity to the Sasquatch for a while. Like they did it for Penny, where she's available in the Red Star store right now, but not diamonds.
Forgot about that. Yeah, true.
But once again, it's Sasquatch, so who cares?
Let me go back to one of the things you said. I think a lot of the communication is important. Communicating with your alliance and finding an alliance with like-minded people. You know, if you are a casual person, I think you're going to be having a bad time if you're in a hardcore alliance, and vice versa. If you're a hardcore player, you're going to have a bad time in a casual alliance. So finding an alliance that has like-minded people that, have the same goals in Marvel Strike Force as you, I think is important. And sometimes that can be hard, but once you find that, stick with that, and hopefully that group lasts for a while.
Yeah.
let's move on to the event for Guardian. The Guardian Unlock event. This one is based on arena wins. Also, you need to spend energy in the showcase event for the Alpha Flight, which is, you know, you get it. I don't like having to refresh that, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Based on the cores you spend and the rewards you get for spending those cores, it's a pretty good value. Easy, not easy for the Guardian Unlock for you or some of your smaller accounts that you have. How many accounts do you have here right now?
3.
All right, for the smallest account, how is this event for you?
I really dislike it because on the smallest account, I don't want to use cores on the Spotlight campaign because I get half as much experience per energy spent. So
you're chosen needing commander experience. I forgot about that.
So it really tanks that. I need ISO crystals like crazy if I ever have any prayer of even looking at the Apocalypse unlock, or just for having Alpha Flight ISO blue as soon as I do get them unlocked. So there's so many things I'd rather be spending my cores on than this, and it kind of sucks because you hit it. Like there's some good rewards in here. It's lots of, because on the free to play track you only get teal gear here too, right? And we're talking like Origin teal gear that we can now buy 100 of them in the raid store pretty cheap.
Yeah.
So the rewards to me aren't great, but you have to do it for the web milestone. I've been coring all the way up to the 100s, not doing the 100s, but up to them. And I'm still like 4 shards short of him. I'm going to get him. As soon as I have him unlocked, I'm pulling back because it's not worth it.
Well, the only thing about the event, right? If you, I calculate, I think you need to spend 2 refreshes per day. So I was thinking you'd spend a few early on the early days and spend less on the subsequent days, because I think you get 288 free per day. So I think it works out. So but yeah, I was spending a lot more early on because I wanted to get your Guardian unlocked. Now I've kind of tempered back on that. Based on arena wins, the meta is pretty much Black Knight, Super Skrull, Old Man Logan, and Arena at the top end. Where is it at for your smallest account? What is in the Arena meta right now?
It's such a mess. So no one in my Arena bracket, I think one person has buffs.
What about Old Man Logan? Does everybody have Old Man Logan?
Everyone has Old Man Logan.
So nobody's moving. Nobody's moving.
It's been just a deadlock for so long. So I've actually been able to move up 3 times by having a lucky. I have a big Kang. I got a 3 diamond Kang from some sort of diamond orb that was given for compensation.
Nice.
I go with Kang, Doom, and if I can find a big enough Gambit that pings my Doom right away, and he brings Kang for the ride, then I can RNG my way through it. But otherwise, it's always Logan v Logan deadlock.
So it's just RNG fest. Hopefully get the good RNG. Other than that, it's going to end up Old Man Logan versus Old Man Logan, and you know how that battle goes.
Yep, exactly.
All right, let's talk about this orb. What do you think about this orb? Good things about it, right? Is you got a guaranteed shard drop for Guardian. And as far as the characters, we got some pretty good selection of characters, right? So let's count this. Yeah, Guardian's unfarmable, Dawkins unfarmable, Iron Patriot's unfarmable, Panda Pool's unfarmable, and Leader's unfarmable. And we got 4 farmable. This is a better ratio than what I thought was a previously best orb, but we were talking beforehand. You didn't like this orb. Just looking at the contents though, I think this is a great orb. Actually, what I'm actually pulling isn't that great, but if we look at the numbers, it seems like it's a good orb. Why is this a bad orb though?
Just because I have the worst luck. all I get is the other All I get is the other characters. I've only gotten 3 shards from the Guardian every single time. I would even be happy with a Red Goblin, because now I want to spend all my Crucible credits on Black Knight, but I won't even give me Red Goblin from, which is annoying. So it's not that it's a bad orb. It's just that Dorky's luck pulling orbs has always been garbage.
Oh, that's yeah. The luck is gonna be bad. What you actually, it's not gonna. What you actually pull, it's not gonna match these numbers here, because it's gonna be the worst possible scenario. I just want some Leader or Iron Patriot. I'm like super close to getting to the next star level, like less than 10 of each, and I've got to none in any of these orbs. So I'm like, Guardian is cool now that I got the unlock, but I want some of these Cabal characters there. Yeah, but yeah, I hopefully we get some good RNG on this very, very soon. But let's talk about these save squads. You put up some save squads. I put up some save squads. You put a lot more thought into your description of your save squads than I did. Crucible. Any summary you want to talk about what people should be doing with their save squads on Crucible right now?
Well, if you're looking at my save squad, it's for a very developed roster. This was not for the free to play account. This was the beginner account. This was for like very developed rosters. I think right now offense is more heavily favored than defense, but I know that is going against conventional wisdom, though I am climbing, having a more offensive mindset. And mind you, like on the free-to-play account where I'm still climbing, I face Mephisto every day, and I don't have Mephisto on that account yet, and I'm still winning. So I think the offense is still heavily favored for now anyway.
All right, raids are pretty much set, right? Are you doing anything outside the normal standard teams that we have for raids?
Well, for the Alpha Flight node, I'm using Old Man Skrull on the boss node, like
just for the boss
node. Yeah, because it's just more fun than using Skrull. I'm using Mephisto to sim through the Mystic boss node in Incursion 2. Nice. And that's it. So everything else is pretty just standard, right? Gotcha.
We'll just thought Blitz is what it is. War is what it is. I focus more than mine on Arena because I think that's important, but my Blitz squads are pretty whatever, and War's not a focus for me. My Crucible squads are pretty much set up though, but it is kind of like yours, based on a developed roster. And with the save squads I have, I usually do hybrids of these teams, so a lot of times I'm replacing a few characters based on who's on defense. But yeah, check out the save squads. Let me know why you think mines are better than Dorky's in the comments as we move on to Players Voice Council. There's a new council being voted on. Started on the 21st of Friday. It is ending tomorrow, the 28th of June. Friday. If you want to be a part of the council, make your voice heard to the devs of Marvel Strike Force. Make sure you get your vote in on their Discord. The link will be down in the description. How valuable has the Players Voice Council been to this direction of Marvel Strike Force, in your opinion?
I think up to this point it's been pretty good, right? Like I don't think the farmability issue, the yellow stars of characters, I don't think that is in the current state it is in right now without them. Which is a very good thing. I think just the fact that Scopely is being more transparent with those players, and those players haven't just immediately quit the game is probably a good sign. But I don't know the inner workings of it. I know there's lots of conspiratorial rumors that go around the group that I don't really understand how that would be possible. Like, it's the Kraken Council. It's like, no, but there's lots of non-spenders in there.
It says in this that they have one representative from each segment of players. The high spenders, the mid spenders, the low spenders, total free to play. So everybody should be represented by this. So if you fit in that and you want to make your voice heard, you can shape the direction of Marvel Strike for the better.
Yeah. Don't come to me or Valley. We have zero power. You can tell us till you're blue in the face, and we could tell them till we're blue in the face, like, hey, this would be a great change. Like, hey, this is like, we could do that forever.
You're skipping these like 3 or 4 middlemen by joining the council. Like, it gets to us, then we get to the community managers, then it gets to the person that you're actually talking to there. So if you want your opinion heard, make sure you at least apply for the council. Let's talk about Dark Dimension 7. You got a bunch of Mephistos in your big account. How are you doing on your baby account? What are you doing? What is your progress on Dark Dimension 7 right now? I did City a couple weeks ago, and I've been stuck in getting my global characters, so that's where I'm stuck right now. Where are you? What kind of characters are you pushing for? What level are your characters at?
So I'm just we're in global right now, but I went in with the exact same team I went in with the big spender account. So that's Nightcrawler, Black Knight, and the 3 Cabal people. Having great success.
Same characters. I'm using the same characters. How were they in Dark Dimension, by the way? How much pain do I have to look forward to?
No, it's not bad. So the trick when using that team is to understand that you are a burst team, right? So you can be set to your blue in the face, and you can try and get the node down to 2 hits. You could do that. Or you can just accept, like, I'm not gonna be ready for Cosmic for a while anyway. I'm gonna do 4 hits per node. I'm gonna do my big burst with my Cabal members. I'm gonna use my Namor ultimate, use everything with my Patriot. I'm gonna get my ult back with Leader, take out an entire wave and a half, and then just kind of build up your cooldowns and let yourself die. And then go in the next day, do it again. And then it's like a very stress-free way to get through it, because there's going to be Dormammu's you got to face. So you want to hit them before you die. So there's no revives. You got Morgans you got to face. Well, I couldn't get the stuff to land on her because she came in after the fact, and my cooldowns up. So I just did basics. Next time I go in, Nightcrawler can stun her off the gate. We go from there. So it's just really important. Do your burst window. Don't let yourself die with no cooldowns up. Because if you die with no cooldowns up, you're never going to get rolling again. Not even a day. If you don't get your cooldowns back up, because the Cabal team starts slow without their cooldowns, you're probably going to waste 3 or 4 days.
Oh. Well, will that even matter? Because Cosmic is so far off. I mean, the pieces you need, the slow trickle of all those catalysts coming in for the Crimson Gear.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it matters too much if you lose a few days. Like I'm losing weeks and weeks and weeks here, so I'm waiting for the global pieces. So
yeah, exactly. There's no rush. Dark Dimension, lots of people like hurry up to wait, because you end up beating the section and you wait there and you're like, oh man, I'm so happy I brought in so and so because they're good in Dark Dimension, but they suck everywhere else. Right?
I don't know. Maybe you can hurry up for these T4 materials or for this one Crimson piece that you could get, or one of these Mega Gold Orbs. That's what you could hurry up for, Dorky.
I guess.
If you want to. Let's move on to some data mines, more data mines. This is about Wilderness Expedition, which looks to be the month-long milestone event for July. You need to collect map fragments and lab supplies for this, and Wilderness orb fragments from Satellite Sword reward. So it looks like we're getting another satellite according to these data mines. You have to complete the scientific web breakthrough, and a 4th of July calendar looks like it's coming around next week. And the further data mines indicate that there's going to be 50 floors instead of 40 floors, 10 new floors. Now, if you guys aren't remembering, this is the tower mode that has teams of 5. You could run whatever characters you want. You have a cooldown that you could use them once per day. The only requirement that you have to have at least 5 yellow stars. Yep. What do you remember from the last time? Because we just had a kiln tower, so I have that fresh in my mind. What do you remember from the last time of Sword Satellite? And are you doing anything to prepare based on these data mines right now?
Yeah, so like you were saying, you have a team of 5, the enemy 10. Last time it culminated, like it really ramps up, right?
multiple waves, right?
Yeah, exactly, multiple waves. So I think like the first 20 floors are kind of gimme floors. You do have to have your characters at 5 stars to get in there. Once you hit floor 30, I think that's where you see the first apocalypse, and all of a sudden his stats are through the roof, like just skyrocketed. And then by the last node, it's like an undying team with Skrull. Last time we did Sword Satellite, we had like 6 teams that beat him, right? So the leaderboard was kind of crazy. Now that we're going to get 10 additional floors, I think this is really cool. Clearly, we're going to see a Mephisto on the last node. I don't think I'm out of line saying that. We're probably going to see some
maybe even before the last node, Dorky. Maybe even before that.
Yeah, floor 41.
Jeez.
It's probably going to be like Mephisto's on floor 45 and Old Man Logan's on the real.
Oh my goodness. You're probably right.
So I think it's going to be challenging.
Do you think all 40 floors will be exactly like we had in previous versions of Sword Satellite? It looks like with Kiln, they're just adding floors. You think they're just adding floors here?
Yeah, I do. I think they'll just be adding 10 new floors, and it'll have characters that have been released since then, which will be like your Cabal, your Alpha Flight, your Spider Society.
They're adding, you know, they're adding some pops and Spider Society and.
Oh, can we skip this event?
Iron Fist, double Iron Fists, and double Miss Marvels, and all that stuff from the past.
Oh no! Skip it! Skip the event, guys. It's not worth it.
Just give me my rewards. It's good.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it. Oh, and last but not least, it looks like we have a data mine that says some trade shows has changed. Maybe for Sword Satellite. Does this data mine mean anything to you? Could this be some of the enemies that we're facing on those higher levels? Oh, actually, it looks like we just got something else in the data mines as we're recording this. So what is this new one? His Majesty's Finest unlock Captain Britain. So another Captain Britain thing. Captain Britain's shield. We're getting more Panther's Legacy milestone, open Queen's Entourage orbs. All right, so something for Black Panther Shuri. I guess it's not a costume. I guess it's confirmed. New data mines as we're recording, ladies and gentlemen. What does all this new stuff mean to you, Dorky? Live reaction.
I see the word Illuminati. I see the word Illuminati 3 times in the same sentence.
Oh, Illuminati confirmed. All right, I guess it's an Illuminati team then. Let's go. We can talk about Illuminati from these data mines. What does that mean to you? Where does your head go now that you see Illuminati?
Well, I think of all the founding members, like Black Bolt, Namor, Tony Stark, Captain America. I guess Captain Britain. He's just holding the place for Captain America. Reed Richards.
In the movie, Captain Carter was
Dr.
there.
Strange,
we had another version
Carter.
of Captain. In the movie, there was the photon version of Captain, or Monica Rambeau version of Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
As Professor X was there.
Yeah.
Let me know who your thoughts are, guys. Illuminati confirmed through the data mines.
Exciting. That's an exciting team.
Exciting.
Yeah.
And let me know what this team could be for, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so now that Illuminati is out there, let me know your thoughts, Valley Club. What are your final thoughts on everything that is coming up next week? What can you expect from an update that looks like it is happening next week, Dorky?
Well, if that data mine is like hot off the presses, right? And we saw the Shuri spread, the Shuri screen already, so it makes sense for her, Illuminati, Captain Britain. We have a lot of outdated legendary characters from that Illuminati tag, so I think we're in store for some pretty exciting things.
Juicy stuff, guys.
Yeah.
Let me know your thoughts. Hopefully you got some value from this video, and if you did, leave it a like. It is free for you. Tremendously helps out the channel. And if you want to see what are the best characters of farm right now that we got some new farmable characters, check out the video up there, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day. Are you ready for a fist bump, brother Dorky? There we go. Canadian fist bump, ValleyFlyin, DorkyDad. Out. Have a great rest of your day.